Hi there, my name is Diane, but you can just call me Dee. So today I decided to do the mid-year book freakout tag. Basically, a tag is questions that you answer about a certain topic. This one specifically takes a look back at what the year has been so far in terms of reading. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of it. Let's get right into it. So first I'll say that I've read 25 books so far this year, which I'm pretty happy about. The first question is best book you've read so far this year. And let's see, it's a little bit difficult to choose. I would say the one that I enjoyed the most was The Last Kingdom by Bernard Cornwell. And once I got into it, I had a lot of fun reading. There is also The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I also really enjoyed Red Rising, so those would be my backup answers. The next question is the best sequel you've read so far this year. I know I've started a lot of series, I haven't really continued or finished them, so I don't know if I'm gonna have an answer for that one. Because the two continuations that I've read are, I think, Siege and Storm and Flash Fire, and neither of those I enjoyed. Like, I think I both gave them like 2 stars or something like that. So I don't think I have any for this year so far, so that's a bit of a bummer. And there's nothing that I'm reading right now that is a sequel or that I'm enjoying. So yeah, that's a bit sad. Let's move on. The next question is new release you haven't read yet but want to. So there are so many new releases that I haven't read for 2021, but I want to. I have a 2021 radar shelf on my Goodreads, and it is full of books. I have 57 books right now. So the third book in the Gilded Wolves trilogy, The Bronzed Beast, is definitely something that I'm really expecting. There's just so many. I've actually done a post on my Instagram with new releases for June, and I'm gonna do another one for July, and all those are definitely some of my most anticipated. Also, another Whispering Door by T.G. Klune, the second book in the Midnight Lie, which is called The Hollow Heart by Mary Rutkowski. So here now we have a few sequels that I'm expecting to read. The Past is Red. The Taking of Jake Livingston seems really interesting. I'm not a big fan of horror, like I'm actually a big chicken, but it just like sounds really interesting. Hopefully I'll get to it, and hopefully it's not too scary. Survive the Night by Riley Sager, Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim, Darling by Kay Ancrum, The Violet Ghosts by Lee Thomas also sounds really amazing. Oh my gosh, there's just so many. The Witch King by H.E. Edwin, The Dead Girls by Nekesa Afia, The Lights of Prague by Nicole Jarvis, The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Bullman. This sounds amazing. I think it's a little bit horror, but I don't know. Hopefully I can handle that because it sounds really cool. Some Girls Do by Jennifer Duggan. Oh boy, there's just so many. In Deep Waters by F.T. Lukens. Oh my gosh, there's just so many. Am I supposed to pick just one? Because I can't. I have The Project by Courtney Summers, which I was really expecting, but unfortunately I am not really in a thriller mystery mood, like, at all. I've started 2 mystery thrillers and I just can't seem to want to pick them up. I'm just in a fantasy mood, so in the end I end up not reading. Oh yeah, also The Marionettes by Katie Wismer. Probably The Hollow Heart would be the one that I'm anticipating the most, just because I've loved the first book and we left in such a situation that it would be really cool to see where it's going. The next question is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So I would say that a lot of the ones that I've said previously apply. I think this is just hard because, you know, as someone who wants to read a lot and tries to make this a priority, you get a lot of books that you want to read, a lot of new books coming, a lot of old books. So it's hard to just pick one. Like, it just doesn't make sense to just pick one. If I had to pick one for the second part of the year, then like I said, I would pick The Hollow Heart. It's probably one of my most anticipated. Number 5 is The Biggest Disappointment. Well, unfortunately, I've had quite a few disappointments this year in terms of reading. I would say that my most disappointed book, it's between Ella Tsoe, The Midnight Library, and Winter's Orbit. It's between those three. I really didn't like The Midnight Library overall message at the end because I understood the hopefulness of the message. I thought maybe it had a little bit of a harmful side to it, so I would be careful going into that book because the ending is just not... I would say maybe Ella Tsoe just because it was so hyped up and I thought it would be something that I would really enjoy, but it just didn't turn out as fully fleshed out as I was hoping. The next question is the biggest surprise. I mean, I don't want to sound too repetitive, but my biggest surprise is The Last Kingdom by Bernard Cornwell, because when I started it, I was not really intrigued about the plot and the premise, and then when I started it, like, it's not that it was slow, but you know, it's about a war, so it takes a kind of some time to get into it. The writing also, like, you had to get into it a little bit, and then it just like blew me away. Like, I was so excited to get back each time into the book and reading about the storyline, and yeah, definitely was my biggest surprise, I would say. Next question is a favorite new author, a debut, or a new author to you. Definitely, without hesitation, it would be Aidan Thomas. They wrote Cemetery Boys, and I fell in love with that book. The character development that happened and the depths of those characters, I don't know, I just fell in love with it. Also, I would say probably T.G. Klune, just for The House in the Syrian Sea, because I once again fell in love with the characters, the settings, and kind of this very whimsical atmosphere. So Aidan Thomas would be my new, as I think that was his debut book, and T.G. Klune would be just a regular new author to me. A newest fictional crush. I don't ever crush on characters, so I don't have an answer for this one. The next question is the newest favorite character, and that I can answer because I've got a lot of characters that I do fall in love with, in the sense that I really care for them and I want to see good things happen to them and I want to see them grow, and you know, you really care about them. I would say Yadriel and Holian from Cemetery Boys. Also in Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I loved a lot of those characters there. I would say, I think Chiala, maybe? Is that how it's pronounced? Amazing. And Serapio also. I really cared so much for them, reading about the storyline and hoping that good things would happen to them. And probably a thread also from The Last Kingdom. Obviously, you follow him from when he's a little boy up to when he's 20, so you spend time in his head. I mean, I personally got attached to him. Next question, a book that made you cry. A book that made me cry of pain because it was terrible, because there are a few of those. I mean, Cemetery Boys was pretty emotional. In Red Rising, I also was really feeling for Dario. I think that might be it. The next question is a book that made you happy, and here I'm thinking it doesn't have to be like you know, the best book or whatever, just maybe it was fun to read or something like that. I would say I really enjoyed my time with Legend Born. I really had fun reading it. Next question is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I don't really buy books, I go to the library right now. I'll modify this question and just say which is my favorite cover of the books that I've read so far. I mean, I really like the Winter's Orbit color scheme, this blue and kind of pinkish going into purple in the center. Like, I really like that. So probably this one or Black Sun was really beautiful. So we've talked about the best books, the most disappointing, and I also want to talk about the worst book. The worst book for me was Snow by John Benville, because the topics in there were really poorly handled and it felt very much like all women characters were written in one way. The main guy was just insufferable to me. His thoughts were really surface level. It was just ridiculous that the plot of the story was what it was. And honestly, it was disgusting to read, and I would never recommend this book. So the last question, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, I need to read a few. I definitely want to read and to finish Malice by John Green, and I know there's a read-along happening, so I'm definitely gonna participate in. I guess I would like also to read the second book in the Red Rising trilogy. I want to reflect a little bit on my year so far with reading. I think I had a lot of disappointment and a lot of books that had been hyped up and I just didn't enjoy, but I also, on a really positive note, found new authors that I want to pick up all of their books. Automatically, I found new series that I know I'm gonna enjoy if I continue reading them. I had, like, you know, a few 5 stars. I had a couple of like middle of the road books, but that I enjoyed my time reading, even though at the end it didn't do enough of what I wanted for me to love them. It was still like nice to get to read them and be part of people talking about those books and like knowing what they are saying. So that's always fun. I'm really excited that I have caught up on a few books that a lot of people are talking about, so now I know what my thoughts are on those, and yeah, so it's always really fun. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you've done the tag yourself. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of those types of videos, and have a great rest of your time. Bye!